What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Hold. Today, we're going to be looking at the Week 3 tournaments over on Sorare to see how we did, see how some of our value calls played out, see what we missed. And then we're going to get ready for Week 4 because that kicks off today. Just as a reminder, if you sign up using our link in the show notes for Sorare, if you're new to it, you get 20 free common cards immediately to get started, and you get to play for free. And then if you buy 5 in the marketplace, you're going to get a 6-1 free. It also helps us out a little bit. So if you're into the game, get involved. And then, of course, after the show in the comments, let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what your calls are for the week. So let's get started. Let's look at week 3 first, which just wrapped up today. I had some mixed results over here. I'll show you my 3 lineups that I landed on. My contender was pretty much garbage. I got to be honest, guys, with the common contender and common champion, I didn't put as much thought into it as I typically do because I was so jacked up to finally have some moments to participate in the limited contender. So you can see here we had LeBron, Scotty Barnes, who I just received that card as a reward over the weekend. I mean, on Friday. And Barnes coming back from injury, so I was like, meh. Dedmon ended up not playing. Damian Lee, who was one of our value calls, was like, ugh. Torrey Craig was fine. Over here, Jokic, Şengün, Brunson, all solid, but kind of let down spots from Santi Aldama and Zach LaVine. Let's go over to the limited contender. I'm going to look at my team first. We remember the debate we had on Friday. Also, just a reminder, we've been doing these live before lock shows on Mondays and Fridays. We try to get all of the late-breaking basketball news and injury news that might impact us making lineups. So we do it Mondays at 5:30, Monday at 5:30 and Friday at 5:30. We'll react to injury news and build a lineup together. But one of the things I was struggling with was to jam in Ben Simmons or to go down a spot and like leave some salary on or leave some cap room. I ended up going with Simmons. Simmons was fine. Keldon Johnson banged down 49. Ben Simmons with 36. Shaedon Sharpe with 19, which Shaedon Sharpe going into the week had a cap of 11. He's now at 14, which we'll see going to next week. He benefited from Dame missing some time, so it looks like he's going to be in the starting lineup and get more minutes. He's going to be a great play again this week. Was hoping to get a little bit more than that. Jock Landale was another fun one. I believe he was 17 cap, and he benefited. DeAndre Ayton ended up going down in their game on Friday night, so he had a bunch more minutes to go around on Sunday. And last night hit some foul trouble, but still went for like 16 and 7, which is pretty solid. And then RJ Hampton was one of our other big calls. He had a cap of 15. He was someone that I thought was going to really benefit from the Cole Anthony injury, and he did, putting up 32 points. He had 25 points from the Friday night game, but then last night eclipsed it with 32. So solid stuff there from RJ Hampton. When we look at some of the, let's actually look at what some of the winning lineups look like. But I haven't looked at it yet, but I imagine Tyrese Maxey was involved, right? He went absolutely ham. A lot of the Spurs did well. We're looking at a Juden 64 right here. I'm not sure if you can see that well, but Buddy Hield had 48. Tyrese Maxey put up 71 points that Friday night. Embiid went down. I think everybody assumed Harden was going to be the big call. And then Maxey just goes absolutely bonkers. Mikal Bridges, we finally saw a big scoring from him, scoring night from him on Friday or Saturday. I can't remember. I think he went for like 27 real life points, giving him 50 fantasy points. Then Dean Wade. Dean Wade was another value call that we looked at, and he had a great game with 39 points there. Which just a smash spot there for Dean Wade. And then last but not least, Sam Hauser, or as the Boston fans call him, Sammy fucking Hauser, with another solid 28 points. So as you can see, right, there's no big names here. I mean, Maxey and Buddy, probably the two biggest names, but it's a lot of middle of the road guys. And as we start thinking about strategy for building lineups, I know there's like a lot of sex appeal and jamming in someone like LeBron or Nikola Jokic or Anthony Davis, but we truly have to play this salary cap game. When I was sharing my lineups on Twitter over the weekend, I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh, look at these influencers trying to get people here with their trash lineups," without actually looking at how to play the game. And you need to find those balanced builds. Or if you're going to play some of these superstars, you need to be able to find the value that's going to get there. We're going to be using MomentumLabs.app, which you'll be able to see a link to them to sign up for their premium content in the show notes as well, to kind of help identify some of the value spots. But a lot of that is dictated based on the injury news that we see. Another thing that we got to think about this week, they released, if we go look at some of the upcoming tournaments, right, as we get ready for week 4 here, they released the limited champion. Let me actually delete the lineup that I threw in there so we can build it together. But they released the limited champion. So this is the very new. We've messed around with the common champion, right? But with the limited champion, what makes this different? We're not going to do the full build right now, but what makes this different, right, is you get an MVP spot that does not impact your cap. So the conversation we were having about like not being able to play Jokic or LeBron unless you really find that value is kind of taken off the board with your first spot in these champion moments. So I'm not going to build it yet because I want to go through some of the schedule and the injury news. But see, like just plugging in Ja Morant, I still have 120 out of 120 for cap. So you basically can play your best guy for free. So now spending in the marketplace for one of those sexy big time MVP type candidates who are going to put up massive stats, there's more appeal to it now because we can use it in this. But I'm sure a lot of you are in a similar spot, right? Where I have a handful of limited cards, but I haven't gone too crazy. So now I have to decide like what's the best roster construction? Where do I want to allocate my players to make sure that I'm building like the best lineups? And do I go all out for an MVP type lineup like this, or do I build a more balanced build over for my limited contender? So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So we'll have a lot of fun trying to figure out like what are the best types of builds there. I think next, let's take a look at the schedule. So just a reminder, as you can see right here for game week 4, right? Game week 4 is going to be running from October 31st, that's tonight, all the way to November 3rd. So we'll get a better feel. The weekend, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have a few more games to play around with here on the Sunday to Thursday schedule. I'm going to look at the schedule right now so we can get an idea of who's playing what as it comes to the games. The NBA, I still use the NBA schedule the website, and it really is. It's always bonkers to me that some of like these big leagues with these sites, the NBA, the MLB, the NFL, they all have terrible websites. They're just like garbage. So because of how bad that NBA website is, we've moved over to ESPN, slightly better. So we're going to look at the games here on Monday. We've got Kings and Charlotte, Sixers and Wizards, Indiana and Brooklyn, which was a high-scoring game the other night, so I expect some more fireworks from them. Atlanta, Toronto, Detroit, Milwaukee, Memphis and Utah, which they played each other over the weekend as well. That was pretty high-scoring. Ja did miss that game. I think he's still questionable with an illness, but I assume he's going to be back. And then Houston, the Clippers. Clippers have been playing bad. They do get the Rockets, who I wouldn't say are defensive stouts. So that might be an attackable spot. On Tuesday, we have the Bulls and the Nets. We got Golden State and Miami, Orlando and OKC, Minnesota and Phoenix, the two national televised games, Bulls and Nets, Minnesota and Suns. That's really not too exciting. And then Wednesday, bigger slate. We've got the Wizards, the Sixers, Celtics, Cleveland, which that was a high flyer over the weekend. So I'm excited we get that back again. Sacramento, Miami, Atlanta, New York, Charlotte, Chicago, LA, Houston, Detroit, Milwaukee, Toronto, San Antonio, Utah, Dallas, Memphis, Portland. That's going to have a ton of points. Lakers and Pels. And then Thursday, the last day, only 2 games, Golden State and Orlando, Denver and OKC. So Denver, I'm pretty sure I only said their name one time. They only have 1 game on this slate. Not that means you can't play them, but just something to keep in mind as we take a look at that. First thoughts, I'm pretty intrigued by Memphis as they've got Utah tonight. So when I was thinking about that MVP, Ja's pretty intriguing. Celtics, Cleveland, again, that stands out. And then obviously from the Thursday night games of Denver, OKC, Golden State, Orlando. I'm sorry, from the Wednesday night game, the Memphis, Portland. So Memphis is someone that I feel like I would like to attack this week if I can, knowing that they have 2 opportunities at monster scores, right? Memphis and Portland should be an exciting one. I'm immediately thinking of that correlation too of Ja Morant and Shaedon Sharpe. Not that correlation is important when building lineups for this, but just knowing that those two teams going to be in like pretty good fast-paced environments. All right, let's move over to Momentum Labs now. I'm going to pull that up, and what we're going to do is the same thing as last time. Again, you can sign up for MomentumLabs.app to get into their premium content so you can take a peek at some of these projections. I find it very helpful. I don't think this is the lay of the land, the lay of the law. Like, I don't think you have to, like, they're just projections, so you never know. But for me, what's helpful is it gives me an idea of like what spots I might want to look at. So taking into consideration injury news and then the schedule, like who are some of these guys I want to attack? I like trying to find some of the guys in the 10 range, 10 and under, because that really does open up your lineup quite a bit. We really benefited this past week from guys like RJ Hampton, who did really well, Bull, Sam Hauser, who we saw, Dean Wade. Like, if you can find one of those cheap guys, Javon Carter was another example. He really popped this weekend, and I think is still projecting pretty well. But if you can find one of those guys that really takes off, it can really open up your roster construction in your schedule. And it feels gross. It feels absolutely disgusting plugging in guys like that, but it really does open stuff up. Now that I'm thinking about it, let's actually start with 20, because I think 20 is like really where we start getting into value. We can work from a cap of 20 and work our way down. Kelly Olynyk, again, we talked about Utah being in some good environments. Kelly O is still considered to be good. I don't really love it, but he's fine. We're seeing Jalen Suggs here again. I'm like looking by value of the green. The green means good. Jalen Suggs has been dinged up a little bit, right? He's got an injury. What does that say? Injured right. What is it? Injured right ankle, 3 games. That was on 11-3. So, all right, he's due back 11-3. So we might only get one Suggs game. But knowing that Suggs is missing time and Cole Anthony is missing time, I'm immediately thinking about going back to RJ Hampton, depending on where he lands for a cap. I haven't checked yet. Here we go. Cam Johnson. We saw a little bit of a ceiling from him this weekend. Cam continues to be a solid play. I know NBA Top Shot Talk, which if you don't follow, you should go check him out. He referenced him as well. Trey Murphy, he is still popping. Brandon Ingram is due back from his concussion soon-ish, we think. So if that is the case, we need to we need to pay attention to that injury news, right? Because if Brandon Ingram is back, we saw Zion come back this weekend. I don't know if I really want to attack any of the Pelicans. I still think Trey Murphy is a good play if someone is missing time, but I would rather like Zion, CJ, Jonas Valanciunas, Brandon Ingram. That is the majority of the usage for that team. So those ancillary pieces really only pop if one of those guys misses a game. In my opinion, anyways. Tim Hardaway Jr., we saw him shoot the hell out of the ball last night. I think he had 24 points off the bench, something like that. So Tim is already good, always a good call. We see Larry Nance, same thing about the New Orleans stuff. I'm not really interested if guys aren't missing time. This is kind of no man's land for me, like Caleb Martin at 18, the 17. If I'm not getting one of these like really solid guys at 20, I kind of want to drop a little bit further down so that way I can get up higher. Jeremy Sohan, we talked about him on, I think he was part of our tweet thread. I can't remember if I put him in a video. But all these Spurs guys now, I mean, the Spurs situation with Josh Primo, we don't have to get into it, but Primo is gone. Vassell's continued to miss time. The minutes, there are minutes that need to go around. Like people need to play so they have enough guys out there. So of course, Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell are still always going to be popping. I really like banking on some of these rookies that people might not be familiar with. Right now, everyone wants to talk about Banchero. Everyone wants to talk about, Benedict Mathurin, who was incredible this weekend, Keegan Murray, Jaden Ivey, all of those guys, of course, great plays, Jabari Smith. But I think we like someone like Jeremy Sohan might get forgotten, especially the combination of him not being like a top 5 pick and him being on the Spurs. People don't want to talk about him. If you bought a Josh Primo like I did, just terrible. It's collectible now. But yeah, Jeremy Sohan, I think, is someone who we should be taking a look at 16. I'm sure his price bumped up a little bit. Let's actually go over to the market and see what the manager sales are on Sohan. I'm going to be looking at limited the most here. You can absolutely play the other games. I just don't have the budget to do that right now. So if we look at Sohan, he is at a price point. Let's look at lowest price right now, $37. That kind of feels like a steal. Not financial advice, of course, but I thought he was going to be upwards to the 50. Maybe that's because he missed a game, but he did miss a game because of illness. Like he was sick. That's why he missed that game. So I don't know. Something to think about. I kind of like it. I kind of like that. Let's keep looking around. Let's keep scoping for some value here. Conchar for the Grizzlies. Again, he popped a bunch mainly because of, what's his name? Oh my God. Why? Oh, yeah, because Job missed some time. Contrar's been good this year. Dylan Brooks is back, though. I don't know. I'm not touching it. Grayson Allen really popping. You're going to see a lot of these Bucks guys pop, especially until Middleton comes back. The Grayson Allens, Javon Carter, George Hill are all going to pop a little bit. I'm sorry. RJ Hampton right here is a cap of 14. So it only went up, I think, like 1 or 2, right? The one thing about the Magic, though, they played a bunch of games recently. I know they play Thursday against Denver. I just want to double check to see if they have 2 games during this stretch. Oh, they do. They play OKC on Tuesday. I'm surprised RJ Hampton's not popping as much as he is, especially if Jalen Suggs is going to miss at least 1, maybe 2 of those games. I'll have to double check the Cole Anthony injury. I still think Cole Anthony's out. RJ was playing really well down crunch time too. They kind of kept Orlando in it for a little bit. So I don't hate the RJ call here. Even though, again, he's not popping as much. He's someone I'm going to go back to the well on, I think. Obviously, Bol. We talked about Bol last week, dude. If Bol's going to get minutes, he's gonna be a fantasy producer. I put ahead, I think, double last night. I think it was 16 and 11. They're playing him, man. They are starting Bol. He's doing really well. As long as they keep him out there, as long as they continue to go big in the same way that they're doing it, they're going to absolutely cook. So really like the Bol call. Again, he is popping quite a bit. The other guy we mentioned a little bit earlier, Shaedon Sharpe, right? Dame is supposed to miss the entire week, I believe. So Shaedon Sharpe and Anthony Simons are going to continue to be good plays. He went up from 11 to 14. So honestly, not high enough for me to get off him. So Shaedon Sharpe is someone that I'm going to continue to target. Nick Richards, he's someone we've talked about before as the backup big for Charlotte, who's continuing to put up dubs. So you can pay attention to that. Let's keep moving along here. Landry Shaman face. I'm going to pass on that. We're getting into dark green stuff over here. Aaron Nesmith, Boston's finest, who got traded to, was he on the Pacers now? Nesmith's playing really well. He missed his last game over the weekend with a knock, so he should be back this week. Nesmith's been projecting well. That Indiana team, man, I kind of like betting on some of these guys right now while Miles Turner and Buddy Hield are still there. They are going to be gone at some point. Miles Turner was on the Woj podcast this week and was just like outwardly projecting what the Lakers might do with him, which is tampering. You can't do that. So I imagine there's going to be some fine of some sorts that come down to Miles Turner. And it's going to be like Woj is going to be breaking news on Woj. Fucking Woj. But Miles Turner, I mean, the Pacers situation is interesting. So I do kind of like targeting some of those guys. Nesmith has a cap of 9. That's a nice little source of salary relief here. We can go back over to the manager sales too. Let's check out on Nesmith kid and see how he's doing. I guess I should be doing Boston accent for Nesmith now that he's in Indiana. But if we again look at lowest price, $17 for 9 cap, right? That really does open up some stuff. I double check why he missed the game over the weekend as we get closer to lock, which is a reminder. We'll be back today, Monday, the 31st at 5:30 Eastern for a live before lock show. So feel free to check that out. But anyways, Aaron Nesmith, someone who's popping a little bit. Now we go to Campaign. Campaign has been shooting lights out, and he hit a bunch of threes yesterday. I forget what his stat line was. I have like Campaign PTSD, and so like real high risk, high reward type guy from Campaign. So, but a cap of 8, real dark green. We're into it. Najee Marshall, again, he had a good game over the weekend. I'm still not ready to buy. You know what? Let's actually do this live. I'm going to go over to Twitter over here. Let's see if we can get a Brandon Ingram update. This is how I get news now, which is a little alarming. Let's see if we go to latest. That's a Celtic fan account. That can't be right. It looks like injury report. Let's check out this injury report for Pelicans. This was yesterday. Here we go. A lot of ads. This is a good site. Fortunately, no one was. The Pelicans are starting to look. Ingram will be out for at least another 3 games. Okay, so you know what? I take back my sass on the Trey Murphy call and on now Najee Marshall. We saw Najee Marshall still perform well with Zion back. But again, I'm a little bit more intrigued by these ancillary pieces when Zion's out as well. But yeah, you can take a flyer on Najee. If it's between Najee Marshall and Trey Murphy, I'm going Najee Marshall only because of the cap differential, right? There's way more risk in Trey Murphy because of his recent performance, where Najee's just at 8, man. That's kind of nice. George Hill, we talked about him. Damian Lee, we've already talked about. Listen, George Hill's too old. I'm off of George Hill. So, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready. Javon Carter, again, we talked about the Bucks. I think I would lean Javon Carter over George Hill for a cap of 7. Dwayne Dedman, Dacian Knicks of the Knicks. I mean, is fine. I guess a cap of 6. Let's see what Knicks's cap is. I mean, let's see what his price is here. Let's see if people are on these guys. You know what I mean? Let's see. $2. $2. I mean, all right, fine. I'll bite. $2. Fine. What I like about that, because I guess is like price per dollar right here. 1.67 is nice. Now we're going to get down to Romeo Langford, who again, maybe Romeo Langford jumps into a bigger role with the Vassell injury, but also with Primo gone. Like again, those minutes, there's going to be minutes there. Let's see. People seem to not be on Langford yet. So listen, there's a lot of opportunity. I'm not going to continue going through value as we've hit quite a few so far. There's a lot of opportunity to be able to make some of these lineups more palatable because you're able to grab some of these guys, you know? So if you're trying to fit in your Jokic's, your LeBrons, there's some options down there. So good luck trying to figure out the value. Again, 5:30 Eastern time today. We'll be back. I'm going to go ahead and dive into, we'll do a quick lineup build here over on the Sorare streets. Did I just, oh no, I didn't. All right, here we go. So we'll throw this back up here. Let's play. So we're going to build two things. We're going to build the contender and the champion. We're going to start with the champion first, right? So again, John Morant's my guy. The fact that Kevin Porter Jr. has been playing really, really well. I would love to be able to play all of these guys. But the fact that Keldon's gone down at 38 is pretty nice. Ben Simmons, I'm going to keep playing Ben Simmons. It feels gross. The Nets are a shit show. Ben Simmons clearly is rusty from injury and also rusty up here right now. I'm hopeful that at some point he starts to get it together a little bit. He looked a little bit better in his last game against the Pacers. The Pacers are going to give up points. Like I like throwing him in here. That leaves me with 53 for the last two spots, which is kind of a weird spot to be in. I would love to be able to do Kevin Porter and then throw in a 9 ball. Do I have, and then Javon Carter. That's kind of sexy. The fact that I can play Ja, Keldon, Ben Simmons, Kevin Porter Jr., and Javon Carter, that's kind of fun. I do like that. My only concern is by doing this, I kind of really limit my opportunity here for the limited contender, right? So it's really hard to know how to do this because like right now, my best option, I could pretty much just play these guys across the board, like throwing Monty Morris, Rui Hachimura, RJ Hampton, Shaden Sharp. That leaves me with 34, right? I think if we do this again, right? Let's delete this lineup and let's try to build this jaw again, but maybe we save Kevin Porter Jr. for, honestly, I kind of, you know what? Forget it. Let's actually do this. I feel like my contender lineup might be a bit more competitive, right? Because some of these guys went down. I wonder if I can play all three. No, I can't. So maybe we save Kevin Porter Jr. for my Ja Morant lineup, right? Because this Simmons, Keldon, we should have no problem playing. We've got 43 for 3 spots left. RJ, Shaden Sharp, and then maybe just Jock Landell, right? Like we don't know how serious the injury is for Ayton yet. So if he misses a couple of games, I kind of like Landell there. It's good to have that's 2 Aussies in a lineup. Let's go. Now let's see how gross this looks like. I might have to go shopping, but we can start with John KPG. Gives me 76 with an average of 25 the rest of the way out. I think we play both of the Wizards. That gives me 28 for the last spot. And I probably got to buy a card, right? I probably have to buy a card here. We'll throw in Keon Johnson. I don't really love it at that cap, but whatever. We'll throw in that. I think we have to go shopping. Would love to hear from you guys in the comments if you have a minute to let me know like what your strategy is with this, because I think now with this new contest opening up, it's really going to affect like where you place your cards, especially if you're not like a so rare whale, right? If you haven't dropped thousands of dollars in there and you only have a handful of moments, you have to decide where does it make the most sense, right? Because if you have one of those studs, you want to build a lineup that has a shot at winning. I guess the other thing I could do, let's see what it looks like if I try to, let's delete both of these lineups and let's see what it looks like if I build a Ja lineup in the limited contender. That immediately takes up half my salary. So we could go Ja, and then it would have to be like RJ Hampton, Shaden Sharp, Lindahl, and then I like Josh Christopher's 1 over. So yeah, I don't think we could do it. But would love to hear from you guys what your strategy is moving forward, who you're going to be targeting in which contests, and like how you're approaching it. Again, if you haven't signed up and you somehow watched this entire video, kudos to you. But I recommend joining. If you're sign up for So Rare, use the link again. You immediately get 20 free common cards to compete for free. And then if you buy 5 in the marketplace, you'll get a 6th free, which is pretty spicy. You can also join our Team Hold Discord. We do content Monday through Friday. Actually, it's Sunday through Friday because we do a show on Sunday. We're doing arguably too much, but I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Come back again today at 5:30 for a little live before lock. We've got a special guest, John Nellis, coming on Friday, who's a big So Rare content creator. Gonna really open our brains, do some big brain thinking. But thanks for being here.